Hi, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. Today's video is on autophagy and fasting, the ultimate combination for looking younger. And don't we want to look younger? So you may be asking yourself, okay, is she talking about putting some type of cream or elixir or some type of chemical peel to make yourself look younger? No, this is something that happens naturally in the body. And God is so wonderful the way that He just made us to just be such a benefit, you know, for when at times when we're not eating, how God just allows our bodies to kind of regenerate and take care of all the old bad stuff that's not working and spit out new good material that we could use to build new body tissue. So let's get started. Okay, so autophagy is something that's fairly new, that's being studied in medicine now, but autophagy really is a survival mechanism. Okay, so if you are doing intermittent fasting, you're down to 2 meals a day, and you get that window down to about 6 hours. So say, for example, you know, the meal that you're skipping is breakfast. So the first time you eat is lunchtime around noon. Then if you eat again at about 6 o'clock when you get home, that is that 6-hour window. Okay, so from the time that you eat dinner back to the time that you then eat lunch the next day is about 18 hours. And so autophagy really kicks in at this 18-hour window. After about 18 hours of fasting, your body does amazing things. Okay, so let's pretend that this is one of the cells in your body. That's right, this is what this represents, one of the cells in your body. Within the cell, this little green area represents something called lysosome. And you don't really need to remember that, but what you need to remember is within our cells, we naturally have this lysosome, and it's like a recycler. And essentially what it does is it takes all the damaged cell parts that don't work very well. They may be damaged from something called misfolded proteins. And you know, we have proteins in our body, we have enzymes, we have hormones, things like that. And sometimes the protein material that we have in our cells become misfolded or misshaped, and it doesn't allow the cell to function properly anymore. And so when we get these misfolded proteins, and we'll talk more about this in a minute when we talk about, you know, how this is good for your brain. But when they get misfolded, they go into this lysosome, and you know, the lysosome is like a recycler. One of the other things that you can find that's very damaging or can be a problem in your cells are pathogens. And you get pathogens from your environment, whether it be from, you know, chemicals in the air that you're being affected by, or chemicals in your food, whether it be insecticides or pesticides, things like that. Things that can cause fungus and yeast, viruses that are in your cells are also pathogens, and microbes that may be harmful to you. Those things that are in the cells go in this recycler, and what it spits out is free fatty acids and also amino acids. These two are the building blocks for you building new healthy tissue. So sometimes you're wondering, you know, how does your body create new healthy tissue? This is how, with free fatty acids and amino acids. And so you may be asking, okay, so misfolded proteins, let's just go back to that for a second. Misfolded proteins, again, is proteins that are not formed properly or not shaped properly. And when that happens, they can start to bunch together. When they start to bunch together, it can cause plaquing or blockage in your veins and your arteries, especially the finer arteries that you have in your brain and also in your eye. So that's when sometimes when you hear about people who have this type of blockage or plaquing, or maybe people who have diabetes, a lot of times, you know, they have problems with their eyesight, or their eyes are damaged, their retina gets damaged, and you know, a lot of people who have advanced forms of diabetes, they will go blind. And so also too, misfolded proteins, they can also cause something called amyloid plaquing. That is plaquing in your arteries, and this plaquing or this blockage, you will find this condition in people who have cognitive diseases like dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, things like that. You know, you will find this amyloid plaquing in their brains. And we believe a lot of this misfolded proteins, a lot of this damage happens from having high insulin for a long period of time. Okay, so we find out, okay, we have these great free fatty acids and amino acids. You know, what is that good for? So let's draw attention to that. Okay, so what does all of that mean? Okay, great. You know, we have this little, lysosome recycler in our cells. You know, as a practical matter, if we're dealing with different conditions and illnesses, or even loved ones that have these conditions, it's good for regrowing brain cells. Again, if you're spitting out these, amino acids and free fatty acids, these building blocks, it helps you regrow brain cells. And isn't that good news, again, for people who have Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and different forms of dementia? Isn't it also good for people who may have had some type of damage to their brain, or they may have been in an accident or something like that, or they may have been deprived of oxygen, if their situation isn't too advanced, and they're able to have some form of recovery. Isn't it wonderful that we know that we could use autophagy, we can use fasting as a tool to help them to get better naturally. It also helps you regrow heart cells, healthy heart cells. So autophagy is protective for your brain, it's protective for your heart. And isn't that great for people who may have had a heart attack and damaged some of their heart cells, or some other way may have had some type of damage to their heart cells? That's wonderful news. It's also protective of your nervous system, and also helps you regrow new nerve cells. And isn't that great news for people who have diabetes and have had damage to the nerve cells in their hands and their feet? They may experience some numbness, they may experience even some burning sensation when it gets a little bit further along in the progression of diabetes. It's very protective for your immune system. Isn't that great news? Because it's getting rid of all those pathogens, the fungus, the viruses, the microbes that are not good for you. And for me, I'm just over the moon with the fact that it is anti-aging. If you can imagine, you stay a little bit too long out in the sun and you get sunburn. Just overall, it's just your skin being able to regenerate and keep your skin cells as healthy as possible, and helping you to look younger. And to be honest, when I started keto back in March, about a month later, I had 4 people in the 2-week period tell me how youthful, how radiant, how glowing my skin was. And yes, I have fun with my makeup, I have fun with my eyeshadow, and my lipstick I usually don't go crazy, but I really like having fun in playing with eyeshadow. And I have some blush. But otherwise, I don't wear foundation. Right now, I don't have any foundation on. I may wear foundation a few times a year if I'm going to a formal event, like a wedding or something like that. But otherwise, I don't wear foundation. And for a 50-year-old woman, for someone to tell her that, her skin looks really youthful and radiant and wonderful, that's just music to my ears. And, who wouldn't want that, whether you're a man or a woman? To look younger, to feel better, and to help your body to just regenerate. God is so good, and I believe that's why he also tells us in the Bible to fast, and, just to give our bodies a break, give our teeth a break, because, our bodies aren't designed to be constantly eating, our pancreas to be constantly excreting insulin to deal with all the food that we constantly eat from the time that we get up to the time that we go to bed, and just to give our cells a break. If you are insulin resistant, to give your cells a chance to heal, give the insulin a chance to go down in your blood, that all of that is such good news. And if you're able to do it naturally without any medication, that's just a win-win. I mean, why would you choose anything else? And so I hope that you find this helpful. I'll put a link below to Dr. Berg's video on autophagy and fasting, because he explains it a whole lot better than I do. And he is the true expert that's been doing this for a long period of time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.